Hello and welcome all my beautiful mummies out there. We are going to be doing a 20-minute core and pelvic floor workout today. And when I say workout, we're going to be working, but this is going to be a lot more mind and muscle connection. This kind of workout is ideal maybe at the start of your pregnancy and more specifically after giving birth to your beautiful baby and developing that core strength and the pelvic floor awareness that we need in so many parts of our life. So all you're going to need is a mat and your body, and we're going to start on the floor. Of course, it's always a good idea to check with your physician or your doctor to make sure you're ready and suitable for these exercises. So come into your space and let's begin. So we're going to start nice and slow, and we're going to bring ourselves onto our back. Walk those heels a little bit into your seat and just bring yourself all the way down. Check that space of where your heels are. Maybe just walk them in. See if you can do a little tap to those heels there. And we're just here flat with our shoulders nice and open and our feet grounded. And right now we're in a neutral position with our back. So we're not forcing anything through a tuck or an arch, just nice and neutral. We're going to start here now with a tucking under of the pelvis. So we're going to take an inhale through the nose. And as you exhale, I want you to start to tuck your pelvis under and lose any space between your lumbar spine and the mat. So let's do that. Inhale and exhale, tuck the pelvis under. And you're going to bring your hands to your hips. And as you're here in this tuck, take your two fingers, your index and your pointer finger, and you're going to feel along the fronts of your hip bones here. And I want you to feel a hardening sensation through the pelvic floor when you're here in this tuck. Now let's take another inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to arch the spine and create some space so that we're arching through our back, and we can now almost create some space here underneath our lower back. Now we are here, we're going to take another inhale. And as we tuck under, we're going to harden through the pelvic floor, tuck it under. And now we can feel again, harden through those underneath of those fingertips here. And start to arch the back once again, create that space, a little bridge in that lower back. And once again, tuck under. Feel that lower back pressing, and make sure that you're not pushing your feet down and creating pressure in the quads. Yes, everything is happening in this central core. And we go again, arch. And we're going to just continue a few more repetitions of this. Tuck the pelvis under, feel the hardening of the pelvic floor, and arch the back, create the space. Let's do 3 more. Tuck it under, and arch. And again, tuck under. And little exhale, go back to the arch. Let's do 1 more here. Inhale. And exhale, back into the arch. Good, now we're going to come back to that neutral position. So we're going to take our focus away from what's happening with only the hips, and we're going to come back into some Kegel exercises. So as we're laying here just in our neutral position, I want you to imagine that there's maybe a small blueberry, something nice and light, sitting at the bottom of your vagina that you're actually going to suck in and lift up to the top of your pelvis. Hold it there for a moment and then just release. Yeah, so all we're going to do is contract and lift and release back down. Yeah, so here we go. Imagining inside the body, even if you want to close your eyes, imagine the blueberry sitting there at the bottom and suck it and lift and release. And again, lift, hold, and release. So it's of course a very small movement. There's not really anything else happening in the presence of the body, but there's a lot happening in that pelvic core section. And building that control, of course, as if you almost have to hold your pee and release again. Let's try 4 more. And lift and hold. And release. And again, lift and hold. And release. Let's do 2 more. Lift and hold. And release. 1 more. Lift and hold. And release. Great. So as such a small movement, we can do this laying down, but we can also do that same exercise seated when we're standing. And it's also a nice way to find that connection in different ways. So we're going to continue now. We're going to come back to that tuck of the pelvis, lose that gap in the lower back onto the floor. And once you tuck under, we're going to find that hardening again. We're not going to per se go into those Kegel muscles again, but back to that pelvic floor. Feel that pressure in the hardening through the front. And now you're going to lift up those heels so that you lift up your toes so just the heels are onto the floor now. You can keep your hands on your hips to keep in check how that pelvic floor is engaged. And now you're going to slowly, with just one leg at a time, slide that leg away just over the floor as you keep the tuck and the connection of the lower back into the mat. And then you'll slide it back up. And same leg again, slowly slide that heel away. Keep that tuck and the hardening of the pelvic floor. And slide that heel back in. We'll do this 2 more times. Send that heel away, slide it over the floor. Keep that tuck. Feel the lower back melting into the floor. And slide that heel back in. We're going to do that 1 more time on the same leg. Slide the heel away. Keep the tuck, check with the fingertips, and slide the heel back in. Let's try that on the other side. So stabilize as you slowly slide and push. And slide the heel back in, keep the tuck of the pelvis under. And once again, slide that heel away. And slide it back in. Everything is controlled, nothing is forced. Once again, slide it away. And slide it back in. 1 more this side. Slide away. Keep the tuck. And slide it back in. Good. Place those toes back down to the floor. Walk those heels in once again. So you can feel, even though it's such a small movement, there's a lot of control in the shifting of the pelvis that we're going to now try to bring into another challenge. So right now we've been going straight up and down with that slide of that heel. We're going to see what happens as we start to rotate as well. So let's come back to that first side. We're going to tuck the pelvis under, check with the pelvic floor with the fingertips. Now as we lift our left toe off, we're going to start to open out our knee to the side, and as we open it out, we're going to resist on the opposite side of that hip as we allow that knee to slowly open and control it back in. Once again, we rotate it open, keep those hips square to the front, and a slow rotate back in. And again, we open the knee, resist on the opposite side, and control that knee back in. Good, now let's slide that heel away. We're going to add a little extra element. As we slide that heel away, we're going to slide it back in, and we're going to add that rotation now. As we slide it back up, start to send that knee open, resist on the other side, and close that knee back in. Once again, we'll slide the heel away, check in with that lower back. Use your hands to assist you to check in with your body. Open the knee, resist on the other hip. And close back in. We're going to do this 1 more time on the same side. Slowly slide that heel away. Keep the tuck under. Slide the heel back in. And as you start to open, resist on the other hip. And slowly back in. And drop that toe back down. Great, guys. So now we're going to try that on the other side. There's, of course, maybe some imbalances through the hip that maybe it's easier on one side to open that knee, and now on the other side you're maybe going with it too much. So just again, take your time zone into your body. Imagine there's maybe a mirror above you that you can see into your body. We're going to flex that toe on the right side, and we're going to slowly start to open that knee and resist on the opposite hip. So as we open the knee out to the side, resist on that opposite hip. Don't let it go with you. And control the knee back in. Checking in with that lower back once again to the mat. Slowly open that knee out to the side. And control the knee back in. Lots of action happening. Even though the body seems quite quiet, we are zoning in to that central zone. We're going to do one more open with that same knee. And slide it back in. Now we're going to add that push away through the heel. Keep that tuck of the pelvis. And slide the heel back in. And once it comes up, we start to open that knee out to the side. Resist on the opposite hip. And close back in. And again, slide that heel away. And slide it back in. Open the knee, resist on the opposite hip. And close back in. Let's do this one more time this side. Slide that heel away. And slide back in. Slow open. And slow close. And drop that toe down, guys. Take a little wiggle here. We're going to just hug those knees into the chest here. Maybe shake those feet around. And we're going to continue here. As you place your feet down onto the floor, we're going to create a little bit more space between the feet now. We're going to be going up into our hip bridge. And I want you to make sure that those heels are going to be right underneath your knees when you go up. But before we start to press up into that bridge, we're going to take our time to arrive once we get there. So laying down flat on the back, we're going to find that tucking under of the pelvis, engage that pelvic floor, and I want you to feel the Kegel muscles starting to lift up and holding at that top. Once we have that Kegel engaged, we're going to start to send those hips up, push through the heels, and arrive at the top of your bridge with a neutral rib cage down, pushing through your heels, and engaging your Kegel at the top. Now we're going to slowly send those hips back down to the floor. Keep the back neutral, and slowly release that tuck when you arrive. Good. Let's try this again. So nice and slow. We begin with the tuck of the pelvis. Release the space from the mat. Engage your Kegel muscles. Lift the blueberry up with the vagina and start to press through your heels. Keep that engagement as you press up to the bridge and just holding at the top. Kegels are engaged. Glutes are engaged by pushing through those heels. Hold it at the top and slowly start to roll back down through the spine. And release that tuck at the bottom. We're going to do a few reps of these. Take your time through the movement. Close your eyes if you need. Tuck the pelvis under. Engage the Kegel muscles. Start to press through those heels as you send your hips up. Arrive at the top and hold. Slowly release yourself back down to the mat. Vertebrae by vertebrae. And release that tuck. Release the Kegel hold. And relax. Once again, we're going to do 2 more rounds. Tuck the pelvis under. Engage the Kegels as you press through the heels to lift. Holding at the top. And control back down. And again, take an inhale. Tuck the pelvis under. Press through. Arrive at the top. Hold the Kegels at the top. Keep holding. Keep holding. And slowly release back down and down. Great, guys. So of course it's interesting to find that position when we're going through the movement while engaging those Kegels and also while we're holding at that top. So we're going to arrive back up at that bridge, hold our Kegel muscles at the top, and then we're going to go into a smaller movement from there. So let's go. Tucking under of the pelvis, engage your Kegels, press through your heels, arrive at the top of your bridge, and we're now just holding here. Now as we maintain this bridge through the body, we're now going to release the Kegel and engage, lift the blueberry up and hold. And release, keep the hips where they are. Lift the Kegel muscles up and hold. Engaging through the glutes as you keep that hold. And release, keep the hips where they are. We're going to do 3 more here. Add the squeeze, Kegels lift. And release, keep the hips high. 2 more here. Engage the glutes, pull the Kegel muscles, lift and hold. And release, keep the hips where they are. We have 1 more just like this. Squeeze the glutes, lift through the Kegels, and hold. And we're gonna slowly roll back down through the spine. Release that tuck. Bring those knees together, feet together. Tuck the pelvis under, and we're gonna slowly start to lift those heels up and come into our tabletop. So when we are here in our tabletop now, we have a little bit more room to move and a little bit more work for our stability. So as we're here, we're in a neutral position, and then I want you to find a tuck under like we did with our feet on the floor. And as we're here, we're gonna make sure the front of our hips are not taking over any of the tension through the tuck. Everything is happening still through that pelvic floor and the transverse abdominis, the lower back, everything for that support. With that rib cage relaxed down, we're gonna take a small inhale through the nose. And as you exhale, you're gonna slowly start to lower one leg down, keeping the bend of that leg, only about halfway down. And then you're going to slowly lift that toe back up. So keeping the bend of the leg, send the other toe away and down. And lift it back up. So it's not about how low that toe is gonna go. I want you to think about sending it away from the body and lift it back up. And while we're sending that toe away, we are feeling that lower back pressing into the mat. You might even be feeling a little bit of shaking through the core. Allow that to happen. We're finding new spaces to work in through the body. Lift it back up. Keep that ribcage relaxed, nothing from the hips, everything from the core. And lift back up. Send it away. Keep the breath in the body. And back up. Other leg goes down. And up. We're going to do 1 more each side. Send the toe down and away. Keep the lower back engaged. And back. 1 more. Away and down. And lift back up. Good. Now we're going to place those toes back down to the floor. Let the heels release. Toes down and heels to the floor. Keeping those inner thighs and knees together. We're going to bring the hands down to the side. From here, we're going to start to lift up through the shoulders as we exhale and start to reach towards the heels. So we're going to start first with the inhale through the nose. And as you exhale, squeeze your inner thighs, squeeze the Kegels, and lift up, reach for your heels for a little hold. And control back down. Once again, check the back. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, squeeze your inner thighs, lift your hands and shoulders off, reach to the heels. And control back down. Make sure nothing is coming from the hips. Inner thighs and core zipping up together. Inhale. Exhale, lift and reach. And back down. We're going to do 4 more of these. Take your inhale. Exhale, lift, squeeze the thighs and reach. And control back down. And down. 2 more here. Inhale goes lift. And back down. I'm going to do 1 last one here. Take an inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth and lift. Try to reach those heels. And lower back down slowly and slowly. Wonderful. All right, guys. We're going to do 1 last one here for today. Of course, you can always revisit these and do them for a little bit more repetitions, but let's finish off by combining these together now. So as you're on your back, let's tuck those knees into the chest, lift those heels up and off, and we'll have our hands down to the side. We're going to take our inhale. As we exhale, we lift up, reach those shoulders, and up and hold. And now we keep that hold here. We're going to go down with a single toe. Down and down. And lift and lift. Shoulders stay up. Lower back is connected to the mat. Keep some space between your chin and your chest. Tap it down and back up. And a tap. And up. Let's do one more each side. Keep reaching those hands to the front. And up. And last one. And up. And bring your head back down. Knees to the chest. Wonderful, guys. So we had the opportunity to run through a few different exercises that are so beneficial for reconnecting with your pelvic floor and your core. So take your time to go through these exercises. If you want to pause throughout the video just to engage even more, please do so. Work responsibly, work safely, and work happily, knowing that you have a beautiful body and that you're gaining that control back. So thank you guys so much. Be sure to check out some other workouts that we have on our Mummy playlist, and we will see you guys back for the next. Stay well, stay wonderful, and remember, we got you.